Going on, everybody? This is OnDeck. Today, what I want to go through with you guys is a little bit of an overview of the MPC 3.0 arranger, as well as some tips for arranging your beats a little bit better to keep them fresh and keep them interesting. I want to show you that there's a lot you can do to keep a listener's attention in just a simple instrumental beat. I have this loop, and I'll just show you like the basic loop without the extra layers. This is a beat. I used a little snippet of this in my sampling video, so you may have heard it before, but I'll just play it for you now so you can check out the basic sound that we're working with. Let's just say that you've made the beat, you got your bass, your drums, your chops, something pretty simple, and you want to start to make it more interesting. There's a lot that you could do, and this arranger gives you several different tools that you can use to achieve that. So if we pop open this edit window in the top right corner, we get to this sequence edit page. There's many different options. Erase. If you're selecting a track and you want to erase the MIDI information, you would use something like this. Works with audio tracks as well. You can also clear the entire arrangement. You can use this trim function to cut the ends of certain bars if they go too long, or maybe an audio file if it goes too long. And you can use this transpose feature. So for instance, if I'm on the bass track here, I can transpose it by semitone, up or down. We now have delete bars, which takes away everything within the selected section here. Insert bars, where you can actually add empty bars into the sequence. Half length, you cut the sequence in half. Double length, you make it twice as long. You just make a copy of the sequence. Copy the events within a track. Copy the entire bar, or copy the whole sequence over so that you can start a new idea and a new arrangement. So first, let's go through here to delete bars. We're going to hit that. We have bars 5 through 8 selected. We actually want to delete all of it because we're going to redo it. So we pull this white selection tool here, and that means that we have everything from bar 5 to bar 32 selected. Hit delete. There we go. Now we're left with just our 4-bar loop. So what I want to do here, for a simple instrumental, we might want a 4-bar intro or an 8-bar intro. Every 8 bars, we switch something up to keep the beat interesting. First thing we'll do here, let's copy this over. We just hit edit, hit that double length, what we just did there. Now we're at 8 bars. Now what we could do here is, you see we have this other layer. We can add that into the tail end of this 8 bars to keep this basic loop more interesting in the arrangement. Now I've noticed I also had some SFX going throughout the whole beat. So say you want to delete some notes. What you would do is you go to your tracks here. You have all your tracks listed on the side. You select it, and anything within this white bar at the top, it will delete all the MIDI notes on that track if you hit this erase function. Track selected is effects from bar 1 to bar 9. Erase all, automation, note, except note. We're just going to do all. We want everything gone. So what we could do actually is, working in the arranger, is we could use this white bar at the top here to select the bars we want to work on. Now if I want to hit play start, it'll start from bar 5. So I know I want to add this layer over top here. So what we could do is make sure we can see our tracks by hitting this expand button under the grid value. Select our layer track and add those on top. Simple as that. We've added the layer to just the second part of the 8-bar loop. Maybe we want to make it even longer. So let's double the length. We got our first 8 bars set up here. Let's do a 16-bar loop. Let's add another switch from bars 9 to 16. And what we're going to do, this is a trick I like to do a lot, is I copy the sample program onto a new track and call it LFO. Now, if we open this track, we can see I have an LFO synced to an 8th note to this BPM. I have the filter set to 30, and the filter in the program edit page is set low. with a little bit of resonance to give it that wah sound that. It's very easy to set up, and it can make another switch up in your simple loop. The easiest way to get the exact same chop but with that LFO is to go edit, go to this copy events page. Now it knows that we want to copy it from the chop track because that's what we had selected before. We wanted to go from bar 9 to 17, that's all correct, and we want to copy all the MIDI data in there. Then if we go down here, this is where it's going to copy to. We want to copy it to bar 9 because that's where we want the events to start. And we want to make sure we're copying it to the right track. So we're going to go to chop LFO. Now, if we hit replace, it'll just take everything here and overwrite anything that would be on your track that you're copying to. If you don't want to do that and you want to mix notes together, you'd hit merge. But for us, there's nothing there, so we will just hit replace. Now we can see that the MIDI data is on the LFO track. So while our chop track is still selected, go back to edit, erase. Everything is selected like it was before. Erase all, do it. Now that's gone. And with that simple trick, now we have everything the same, but with the chop LFO track triggering instead of the original chop track. Next, we might want to extend this out again. Now we have a full 32 bar sequence. Now we can think of the song as a whole. Let's do an 8-bar intro. Normally with a beat like this, you'd probably start out with the sample, and you would probably want to have the drums come in either on bar 9 or right before bar 9 to add anticipation. Select our drum track, select up to bar 7, and erase. Now if you want to have the drums come in slightly early, you'd go to your grid here. Now it's just going to show you for bar 7 to 8. This is the 2 bars that we want to work on before the whole beat drops. I just want the drum fill to come in before the beat drops. So let's grab all these notes, hold shift, cut. To me, that's the easiest way to quickly remove notes in the grid view. Now let's do the same for the bass, but let's have the bass come in on bar 5. So select from bar 1 to 4, hit edit, make sure your bass track is selected. Yes, everything's correct. Do it. This layer that we added before, we also don't need that yet. So let's make sure we have at least that area selected. Edit, erase, do it. And that's going to go right into the rest of the beat. Now we have all these bars, right? But we need to find ways to make things more interesting. After this LFO part, we're going to take the same method to put the chops on the LFO, and we're just going to put it in a track with a simple filter on it here. Let's copy events from chop. We want to take it to chop filter, and we want to pay close attention to this start bar because it's easy to make that mistake. That part, it doesn't always set for you. Now we hit replace, erase the original notes in the chop program, and then we have now let's add something different with the drums too, like a nice drum switch up. Even if you just play the same drums in a different pattern, that could go a long way to keeping the arrangement feeling fresh. In this track, I had a whole nother drum program. So let's try that instead. Erase the original drums, select the track you want to record on, and since we have 17 to 24 selected, we could really easily punch in our new notes. Now, you see, I only played 4 of the 8 bars, right? But the truth is that's all we really need because we can go to this arranger now. Remember, we have this copy events. We'll do that. We have our track selected. We want to select the same track. And you see how it ends at bar 21? We want our copied events to start at that bar. Then when we hit replace, we have 8 bars. Maybe we really like this chop LFO and we want to add another 8 bars of just that. No problem. With the same area selected starting at bar 17, we go to edit, hit this insert bars function. And instead of before bar 24, we'll go before bar 17. We want another 8 bars. And just like that, now we have 8 blank bars that we can work with. If we want to quickly redo everything we had from these bars, from bar 9 to 16, with the LFO, filter chop, the drums, the sub, and that layer, we'll go back to edit, copy bars. We have bar 9 to 16. It's going to copy everything on every track. We want one copy of that. So we want another 8-bar copy happening right after bar 16. Hit replace. Now we have 16 bars of that LFO pattern. Now let's say you want to add something over the whole arrangement. For instance, I have this effects track. Now this has a bunch of different samples all through the track. What I like to do is select the whole range, the whole 40 bars, and then every 4 to 8 bars, you can throw in a different effect sound. And you could just go through the whole track having several samples of effects shots or even risers, stuff like that, and just kind of drop them in over the whole arrangement. Things like this are why I prefer working with the arranger in MPC 3, because I was always someone who would use one sequence and just extend it. So this just feels like it's building on that workflow. So I'll play this original arrangement. I'll throw in some effects on the SP. And we'll call this a day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a little bit about the arranger in MPC 3, and I hope you enjoyed the beat. Until next time, peace out.